Hey guys, before this video starts, I just want to say that this meeting will be covering some issues, some updates, and some regulations that we're now incorporating within Frost County's Bravest. Don't worry, it's not a big deal, and it is going to be great for us in the long run. So thank you guys so much, and I hope you enjoy the video. So first order of business, so we've been noticing that there have been a lot of issues just in general with some of the things, some of those being RTO, member against member issues, other just non-realistic RP issues and whatnot, but they know who they are and they should know to kind of not do that anymore. With that being said, some of the issues have been unrealistic RPs to where we've had issues to where people have been slacking while on shift in a department. That's not okay. If you're on a department, you're specifically supposed to be doing the stuff on that department. Whether or not you're on the sheriff department, fire department, Department of Transportation, other things like that. Department of Transportation is a little bit cut back in slack due to the fact that it is technically a civilian-like aspect. However, it is a department to where you will need to help law enforcement officers if they need a vehicle towed, for example. Which dispatchers will advise of that for you, due to the fact that there will be a sheriff department dispatcher and then maybe even a fire radio, depending on how many people we have, Department of Communications-wise, that are wanting to do that. Which, speaking of which, with the constant improvements that we're making and whatnot to the community with different departments, we've recently added the Department of Transportation and the Department of Communications. There will be some new regulations with that. The new regulations are not really much regulations, but one is technically a regulation, one is advisory of where to be at in terms of actual patrols. So let me get the advisory for the patrols out of the way. During patrols, most of you guys know, we'll meet in the far back cafeteria and do the wheel spinner. The wheel decider is going to be a thing that is just an iconic thing to us, that allows it to be more diverse and out of the hands of the host, to where the only thing the host does is enter in your name and spin your name on a wheel, and once you get decided, it will be there. Quotas for civilians will be put into place for a set amount of users. Don't nag about that. That's how it's going to be. Civilians will be able to do their normal stuff. They can do any sort of roleplay so long as it's not against Roblox terms of services and not against our rules and regulations. We want to be as realistic as possible, but not violate any rules that Roblox has. With the seating stuff, I advised some of the people that were at our last patrol, there is going to be a seating chart now for where everybody's going to sit. So in the beginning, people that are a part of departments will go on to one table, a couple tables, and then strictly people who are just civilians will go to one specific table, and if they need to, they will, if there's an overabundance of that, they will stand on top of the table. The only time that somebody should stand on top of the table is if all the seats are filled. Same goes with if you are called to a department, you will go to the back wall. Well, if you go to the back wall and you're only a part of one department, you will go directly to that table. If you are part of multiple departments, you will go to the back wall, stay there for a second, and then basically, once everybody's been picked, whether or not they're civ or department, we will get that going, and then the hosts will figure out which department you wish to go on. And you can only do the departments that you're a part of. So, for example, if you're a fire department unit, you will do fire department or whatever department else you have. So, for example, I'm a part of almost all the departments, so I could either pick sheriff department or fire department or DOT. Say, for example, that night we're kind of low on LEO units and I want to go help them out, I'll choose sheriff department and then I'll go to that table. With that being said, there will be an actual seating chart that we'll make up for everybody and put it into a information channel, most likely FCB information. And that will be there for everybody to view and get a kind of, okay, this is where I need to be sort of mentality. So before everybody's picked, we'll be up front in that area, and then after everybody's picked, we'll be in the back area or at the double doors where all the civs usually go. Once that's done, we'll do the AOP choosing as normal. There will be eventually, once we do have enough people, a set number limit to where it will fall into the area of statewide availability. To which, if that's the case, the host can advise whether or not they wish they can do a poll to where they wish to do statewide or confined, essentially, is what we're going to be doing with that. Confined will consist of the city or county areas of play. UD maps will be updated shortly again. This is due to the fact that the fire department is slowly expanding and growing, which is a good thing to run into. This is actually a really good problem to run into. We will, if the AOP is county or city and the fire department is within either a specific only county or only city, we will advise of another place to where the fire department can go as an active quote-unquote station. The next thing, the regulation bit, is there will be a cap on how many departments you can be a part of. This excludes, note this excludes the civilian operations and the Department of Communications. If you are a part of the civilian operations or the Department of Communications, don't worry about this too much. Don't worry about it too much. You can only be a part of two departments, that is being Frost County Sheriff Department, Frost County Fire Department, and Frost County Department of Transportation. You can only be a part of two of those three. Civilian operations and Department of Communications are excluded from that list. The reason being for that is civilian operations, anybody can be a part of that so long as they've applied for a civilian. For the fact of Department of Communications, however, anybody can be a part of that if they're willing to handle 911 calls and are of the age requirement. You can pick what you want. You can think about it for some time. That's not going to be fully into effect until Friday, so you have until Friday. That's also for anybody that is trying to sign into the CAD system. The CAD system is on lockdown due to the fact that we're fixing stuff. Moving on to the next bit. I think there's really only one final topic to talk about before we do some questions and whatnot. And that is, we may Not certainly. This is a possibility, and it needs to be run fully by staff and mods. Current staff and mods, and that is due to the fact that we may be hiring some new moderators or some new staff people. That is not a sure thing. That is not confirmed nor denied. It is going to be put as a suggestion towards current staff and moderators, to which current staff and moderators will be possibly promoted, and it's still up in the air, and that still needs to be run by me and Zach. With that being said, there will be people that we're having in mind that current staff and mods will keep in mind and try to figure that out as we go along, and we will get current suggestions on people who we're looking at who are professional, can represent FCB as a whole, and are willing to dedicate their time towards the community to help others and get work done to where they do more of the behind the scenes stuff, not entirely, but more on the lines of behind the scenes stuff. We're gonna advise those people who we're thinking of when that is happening. We will do that via email, so the staff department has accessibility to email those people that we're looking at about that. That is not a confirmed accept or deny sort of thing. We'll advise of that eventually when that gets to it. We'll get that done and over with. Also, if you're, just to get this clarified out of the way and whatnot, if you're going into a new department, due to the fact that the 2-department regulation will be a thing, you will have to apply for said other department if you are not already a part of it. And you will have to work your way on up through the ranks as everybody else does. There is no freebies on that. There is no things of, oh, I'm a part of a different department, I should be this kind of rank. That's not going to happen. So, yeah, that's really it. So, if you need me to repeat anything, have any questions, concerns, comments, and whatnot, you may voice them. I'm going to unserver mute some of the people that have server muted themselves or have been server muted. So that way we're good. Any questions, concerns?
I'd like to ask something.
Okay, and when other people are talking, please don't chime in and whatnot, unless you're staff and mod and know what you're speaking on. So go ahead, Yell. What's your question?
So I was just kind of wondering. I mean, if you guys don't want to release this information, that's fine. But I was kind of wondering what led up to the department restriction. Why we have to lose at least one department if you're in all of them. I'm just saying this for people who are, because I am one of them, and I know there might be a couple who are.
I am as well. I am thrown into the mix of that. The reason we are doing that is due to the fact that other communities have that restriction, and it opens not only, it kind of does limit some options, but for people that are a part of all the departments and want to do that stuff, but it does open an area to where different departments can be on the same patrol, to where there's more opportunities for different roleplay scenarios and whatnot. This was actually kind of taken into effect from another community group that does this, with at least my mindset on that. It was taken fully into effect due to the fact that, yes, it opens more opportunities, but kind of restricts the availability for departments. Plus, it makes things easier for department staff to where it's not constantly, I know for me, it's a hassle to try and figure out, okay, what department were they on this day, sort of thing. And whatnot. Which, speaking on that, there is going to be no freebies. If you're civilian, you don't get points and whatnot. It's you only get the points if you're actually working on said department. That's going to be the unfortunate truth. The reason for that is because it's like, if you're on the department, you're actually doing the work, you're dedicating your time and effort to patrol and do said actions accordingly with the departments. And that's more of a line on to where the staff of said departments will add those points in and whatnot. I'm still working on getting a DOT points board spreadsheet up for the DOT team and whatnot. But on the lines of the limitations for the departments, yes, I fall into that category as well, and whatnot, and that's kind of the reasoning behind that. And honestly, if I had to drop anything, it would be the DOT that I'd be dropping. So with that, there's going to be a complication to where I have to figure out who's going to actually run that department fully. Which I have some people in mind, and that is up to the discretion of me to decide on that, due to the fact that it is basically having somebody take over for the role of that rank, which is thinking ahead to where somebody is able, reliable, and whatnot to run said DOT department. I'm looking at options and getting that sorted.
What if you're inactive? What if you're in an active group as well? What if they have an event? We have an event.
If
That's my
they're
question.
if they're are you talking on the lines of like two departments being
No. I'm talking about like I'm in an Assassin's Creed group. If
okay,
we are
okay,
having an event that day,
okay. I
and
see what you're talking about, different community things and whatnot. Okay.
yeah,
Okay. That's okay. So if you're a part of a different community and whatnot, and we also have an event at the certain time that they have a certain event at that time, figure out whether or not it's a mandatory thing. If they absolutely need you, first off. If they don't, please try and attend the 3 events per month at the least is still in effect. And we're going to be trying to get more strict on that. And we don't want to have an issue to where it is not met and we mark you on an inactivity watch unreasonably. We don't want to do that to where it's an issue. We're willing to work with you and whatnot. Say, for example, just throwing out a random thing. So, say, for example, not that anybody is, I don't think, but say, for example, you're a part of like some group like Mano County stuff, something like that. If you're a part of a Mano County and Frost County's Bravest, and you have an event that's there, we're willing to work with you based on the dire need that they need you, kind of thing. If it's an option to where you're not able to make it to one of our events and you have to go to that immediately, we're willing to work with you. We completely understand and will allow you to do so. We're not going to mark you on that so long as you advise us. That is the number one thing that I want to mention. Please, if you are not able to make an event and whatnot, advise the host or some staff and moderators of Frost County's Bravest entirely. That keeps us up to date on what's going on and whatnot. You necessarily don't have to go into full detail if it's something very personal. We would we completely understand and would be willing to not know about it if it is completely personal. We don't want to intrude on that, and we completely understand on that part. IRL things happen. things can come out of the blue and whatnot, and we completely are understanding and willing to get that figured out. If there is an issue for that you there is some sort of issue to where you're absolutely can't make it, the can't function kind of thing, with your computer or something like that happens, we completely understand. Just try and advise us if possible if you got some way to contact us. Could be phone or anything like that. I know Discord has an app, because of the fact that I have that app on my phone. If you're not a part of that, you can get into that and whatnot, and advise us as soon as possible. We completely understand if you're not available to do so. Just please advise us at your latest convenience, before we accidentally mark you on an inactive watch. Please advise us of that and get and so that way we're updated and we don't have issues. We don't want to start issues. It's a thing of we want to help you to the best of our ability. This community is built on, well, community resources and entertainment. Those are basically our three main points. Community being the first and major priority. So basically, to put that in summary, if you're a part of two different community groups and you have two events at the same time, let us know. We'll figure it out.
So, about the basically Discord on your phones. Say your parents didn't allow you to have Discord on your phone, what would you do then?
That's where email comes into play. If you're able to do email and whatnot,
Yeah, I was gonna say, what if you don't have an email?
if you don't, well, kind of need an email for the CAD system. Well, first off, and two, if it's a thing of that's down as well or whatnot, if all options are failing and you can't do any of the options and whatnot, let us know the next day or when it is available. We will be completely understanding and get rid of any inactive stuff that has been marked if it takes, for example, 2 to 3 weeks. Which that's kind of overstating that, but you get what I mean. If it takes a while, we'll get rid of any issues that may have been put onto you. For example, maybe the inactive watch roll got put onto you. We'll get that sorted and remove that and be willing to understand what's going on, and basically if you're able to, can give us a little bit of a rundown on what's going on. Again, that kind of falls into that personal territory. If it is personal, we don't want to hear it and whatnot. That is your own business, and we don't want to intrude on that. And we're completely understanding with that. So yeah, if all else fails and you're not able to do any of that, advise us at your latest your convenience to where you're able to do so. Any other questions and concerns if we want to voice those?
I'm not here to try and offend anyone and by saying this and stating this. I just want to kind of say if we ever end up having problems, and I'm sure this is more at liberty, or staff would be more so at liberty to state this, but it hasn't been stated, so I'd like to state it myself. If there's ever a problem with anybody suspects that somebody FRP'd, whatever, can we please not make a big deal about it? Let staff and mods know, like, kind of discreetly. Don't, like, call them over comms or anything. Just DM one of them. Importantly, I know that they will. They know what to do. So, just because I realize that there has been some things that have been,
Happening, yep.
people have kind of freaked out and everyone gets involved, and it sometimes doesn't need to happen. So, just kind of wanted to put that out.
Yep, that is a good thing to note about. Yeah, that can happen. Just again, yeah, you're right on that, Yell. Just discreetly let us know, DM us, or whisper us on the actual Roblox chat if tags don't be a pain. But is what it is on that. So just let a staff or mod know about it. We'll take care of it. We'll move the person that's in question out of the channel for the time being, get that situated, and whatnot. And if there needs to be action taken, we can do so. If there's it's an issue to where it's not the person that's actually accused and it's another person, we'll drag them out and get stories and basically whatnot. We're willing to listen to everybody's actual statements, like actual police officers, but and get that done to where it's resolved and taken care of accordingly. If it is, which the staff have the final say on that sort of issue, we'll get it done, get it out of the way, and just don't let it happen again, sort of thing. If it's a repeated offense, then that comes more into play. There may be consequences, there may not be consequences. It just depends on the severity of the situation.
So say you want to come back to the FD. Are you going to go back up to the original rank you were, or are you going to start back at the bottom?
Start back at the bottom. That's how it works, unfortunately. Everybody starts at the bottom and works their way up.
I just want to make sure that was clarified.
Yes, yep. You will start, if you end up going back to a department, you will start back at the bottom again, unless it's advised of the staff that they wish to put you at a different rank, department staff, that is, which they have to run that by actual FCB staff and make sure that's possible and reasonable. Say for example, maybe I got rid of sheriff department, went to something, and want to go back to sheriff department. I could, due to the fact of how much experience I've had with said department, possibly could go back to deputy. That would be the reasonable position due to the fact that it is giving me a unit number and starting me out just with the Crown Vic and Explorer, which will also be the Taurus once UD adds that, so keep that in mind. So yeah, that's really it. So this stuff will be starting to take into effect and whatnot over time. Do note that we're also going to be putting out videos on for the new CAD help videos. I've already recorded all of them. I just need to edit them eventually, which I'll do eventually and get that situated. Due to the fact that, well, that is when I get the intro and outro for FCB fixed, due to the fact that there were some proportion issues with the actual screen res. No biggie, but can easily fix that in post. But yeah, that's really actually gonna wrap it up because we did take a little bit longer on that. So yeah, that is gonna wrap that up. I do appreciate you guys for attending. This basically gets you updated straight off the bat and whatnot, so that way you guys are constantly up to date and whatnot. I do appreciate that very much, and it lets me know that you guys are still willing to hear what is going on behind the scenes and whatnot. So yeah. Anyways, if you have any questions, concerns, and whatnot, feel free to DM us when we're available and whatnot. And then also note that we have an email address and whatnot, which you can find on our nifty website as well. Which, if you have any questions and whatnot and are not sure completely, some of those questions may actually be answered on the website. So if they're not on the website, let us know. If they are, good, you should be set. But yeah, just let us know when we're available, and or if you want to email us, feel free to do so. But yeah, that's really going to do it for today's meeting. Thank you guys so much for attending it. You guys are dismissed, and have yourselves a wonderful day. Alrighty. Well, just to get rid of this and go back to this, thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope you appreciated this. I do hope this clears up some of your questions, concerns, and comments. If it doesn't, and you have more questions, concerns, or comments, let us know. And I should probably put that away due to the fact that that's probably an epilepsy thing. But yeah, let us know. Email us and whatnot. Go to our website and whatnot. Just like I told them. So, thank you guys again so much for watching this. I hope you did enjoy it. If you are new to this channel and whatnot, please subscribe and hit that notification bell, as it is greatly appreciated. Also, leave a like on this video. It is greatly appreciated as well if you enjoyed it and are excited for the new possibilities that we'll eventually have. So yeah, I am the Dr. 727 or Lego Master JM with Frost County's Bravest. I am the proud owner of FCB as a whole. Signing off. Have a good day.